They had high friendship overlap. The couples who shared friends, like we have the same friends. And this effect was mostly on the women in those couples. So I get like this extra support for my marriage because they know us, right? And I also think it's because if I have friends who don't know my partner, when I'm fussing about him or just whatever, the research found that maybe they're more likely to be critical of him or like 10 toes down for me because they're my friend, but they don't know him. They can't imagine him, picture him, or advocate for him. They don't really know him like that. But if they do know him, they're more likely to be mediators because they know us both.
I love this video so much. I love her so much. If you're not following, please go follow. I fully agree. She gives a lot of reasons, so go watch that video. But here's my personal reasons and my personal experience, okay? For my best friend Liz, who is like one of my soulmates, all right? Like she has been my best friend and soulmate for, I don't even know, 18 years now. She holds a microphone to my intuition. She knows me better than anyone, maybe other than my sister, but I almost think she even knows me better than my sister on some level because, you know, I haven't lived with my sister in so long because we were like teenagers. So whatever, she just knows me differently than my sister. My sister and Liz know my husband very well and like my husband and have to advocate for my husband when I'm being crazy because that happens a lot. And I've talked about that. So I'm going to give you all several reasons. But the first one out of the gate is that, first of all, it was super important for all the women in my life, especially the ones who know me well, who give me the best advice, who have helped me grow into the person I am that I like now after being such a self-destructive mess for such a long time. It was always really important that those women approve of the man I'm dating. And as y'all know, if you've been following me, I didn't even start dating until my late 30s. And my first partner, almost me, and that's the first person I didn't actually introduce to Liz. I actually started lying about him to Liz because I knew she'd be worried about me, and she was. That's why I started lying, because anyway, so Liz is like the barometer. Okay, she's not like, she doesn't make any decisions for me, but she's the truth teller. She's the one who tells me the things I don't want to hear, but I need to hear. Whenever I'm afraid to tell Liz about something, I know it's something that I don't want to admit to myself. And that's exactly when I tell Liz. So I have like several people in my life. Liz is the number one that I go to. There's my sister. I have mentors, but one in particular, and any of these people that I do not want to talk to about something because I like don't want to be called on my crap. That's exactly when I talk to them about that, right? So those people, it was very important to me that they all knew Anthony, talked to him, and really got a sense of who he was and fully approved of him, okay? Because these people have never been wrong. And Liz is the person who knows when to take my side, for lack of a better word, and to take his side. She will go to bat for him because she knows him. And she is that voice sometimes. She's like, Melanie, that's not Anthony. That is not who he is. That's your ex, or that's your dad, or that's this, but that's not who he is. That is not the man you married. You know that. Like, she knows when I'm projecting, and she will call me on it. And she's right every time. And then there's certain times where she will be like, yeah, you know I love Anthony, but this is one of these times where you need to talk about it. You need to address this because he is not seeing this thing. You know what I mean? Like she helps me filter crazy Melanie out of the conversations that I have with him so that I don't say awful things I'm going to regret. And I have. I've talked about that here before. I did not talk to her or my mentor or my sister or anybody, and I had a conversation with her. I literally said the word divorce. And this man, that's not what I want. I don't want that. I'm not even thinking about that. But when I'm in my like trauma responses, they say that the hysterical is historical a lot of times, and I was like, ah! I was freaking out, and I did not check in with this or friends who keep me in touch with my intuition, right? So that is kind of going way into the whole part about like these people call me on. They know him, they know his character, they know what he's like, they know when I'm projecting. You know what I mean? Like, so they help me be a better partner, and because they believe in us and they like him, right? And the reason why I invite this into my life is because Liz has been doing, I know her husband. I like her husband. And sometimes I'm like, hey, you know what? You are forgetting the whole context. Is this, this, and this, and this? And she's like, oh yeah, you're right. She literally calls me and says, okay, I'm pissed about this, but tell me what am I doing? I know that there's something going on my end, but I can't see it. And I will help her see where she might be telling herself something that's not really true. It's not about him. It's about something else, right? Or where like we figure it out, right? It's funny, like her and I joke that we have saved each other's marriages. I mean, me saving hers more than because she's been married way longer than me. But I'm that sounding board where I love her and I'm always gonna be like, she's my number one, but I really fucking like him too, And I am not going to let her destroy a relationship because she can't see straight in that moment. So I can be that outside voice for her, and she is that for me. My sister does that. My therapist, like I have a community of people who all know my husband, who know me very well. They're my team, but they support us. Also, I know his friend. And by the way, and like Danielle said, like, this is research, this is personal experience. Like, also, you could literally take what I'm saying and use it and make terrible decisions with it, especially if you have a friend who gives you terrible advice, whatever. So just, this is all contextual and it's not the same across the board for everything. But I want to know his friends. Like, I don't know his friends that he plays ping pong with because it's a club and he's not like friends with them. He doesn't know people in my drum club yet because I just started playing drums and it's like, that's my thing. We have our own separate things. But when it comes to close friends and community and people that are important to us, it is very important to both of us that we know each other's friends. We like each other's friends because if he had a friend who was a misogynistic bra who hated women or treated their partners like crap, I would have a problem with that because I do believe on some level, you are the average of the 5 closest people to you. So if he's hanging out with a bunch of dudes who suck and treat women like crap, that's going to influence him, right? And I'd also be like, what's wrong with you? Like, why? You know what I mean? So I like his friends. I also know that his friends are going to give him very good advice. And I've talked about the men's group, and I actually talked about the men's group stuff on Danielle's podcast, the Friends Forward podcast, amazing podcast. Really, you learn so much about friendship from Danielle and her research. And when with the men's group, I know the men in that group. I didn't know all of them in the beginning, but I knew enough of them where I was like, these dudes are on the same page. They are deconstructing all this stuff. They are in touch with their feelings. They hold each other accountable. They have hard conversations. They love each other and support each other, but they're not afraid to tell each other the truth. Like, I knew that was how they all align. And so not only do I want him to talk to them about us because they will give him perspective. And for instance, when he was really struggling with his job, I'm too close to that. I'm too affected by what happens with his work. It's too like triggering for me to like talk about it anymore. So they had the outside perspective, right? With anything like this is literally, we are a team, and we have a team of people around us who are brave enough to call us on our stuff and tell us the things in a very thoughtful but honest way that we may not want to hear so that we can grow and learn and do better and be better and show up better in our relationships. We have that. It's important to us, and that's always been important to me because I know I cannot have healthy relationships just with Melanie, right? I got too much PTSD, too much like unresolved trauma that I'm still working through. I don't think we were meant to do that on our own. It starts with community. Without that, I'd be screwed.